Anyway, I wrote you last week or so about you possibly doing a video on how the tractor does not stop when you let off the gas pedal.
Yeah, that was when a subscriber, I don't know if you were the subscriber or somebody else was the subscriber that said, look at the owner's manual, and there.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I tested that on the next day to see if that is going to be true. Like if you light off that accelerator slowly, that it's supposed to engage the brake, is my understanding. But with my tractor, that's not the case, because my wife has walked in front of it, and I've gotten scared that I haven't got on the brake quick enough, because I let off, like right. My John Deere, if I let off the gas on my John Deere, that thing stopped like a rock regardless. Oh, yeah, obviously if I was on a hill it wouldn't, but if I was on flat terrain and I let go of that gas without touching that brake, that John Deere would stop dead in its tracks. This tractor doesn't do that. It goes for at least 6 to 8 more inches, and it just scares the shit out of you. So even it's like that old Asteroids game from the 1980s, right? Where you had to like gimp along and kind of understand your drift so that you stopped where you needed to stop. That's exactly what this tractor makes me feel like, as if it's drifting, and it's like I've got to anticipate the fact that it's not going to stop unless I apply the brake. Now, as a person who uses tractors, and obviously you used them in the past, normally taking your foot off the gas does the trick. You don't have to apply the brake. Now, you can relearn that by applying the brake, but they've got that brake in a weird location for a guy that's my top. I'm 6'1", so it's like it's not easy. Okay, the manufacturer could come back and say, just apply the brake, you bunch of idiots. But the fact being is, their design of the tractor itself, their design kind of pushes that forward. So if you're under maybe 5.5 feet, it makes sense because your foot would be there. But if you're any taller than 5'5", your comfortability puts that foot in a different location. And that's not just a learned thing, that's a physics thing at that time. You know what I mean? Because you're not... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I have a John Deere as well, a X739. That's four-wheel steer, four-wheel drive. And you say, well, why in the hell would you buy an electric? That's a good question. We won't get into that. But the reason I wanted to talk to you was today, my wife wanted me to cut down a couple of trees. And so I cut down a tree and then chained to it to pull it out to my trash pile. And I was on gravel, and the tree got caught. So the tractor stopped. I let off so I backed up a little bit, went forward again, and as soon as the tractor stopped, I let off the gas, and it's kept churning the gravel. So it continues to drive when you take your foot off.
Yeah.
I said that to you in my other.
I would agree to that. Maybe it's more severe with your tractor, but I mean, I don't know what it's, the rotation is going, like let's say you let off the gas, does the rotation continue another 6-8 inches? For me, it's about 4 inches. Like the tractor wants to try to go through a 1/4 turn of that tire with the power still to it, to push that tractor forward, for me, is another 4 to 5 inches. It's kind of scary. It really is, especially if you're trying to go forward and back. Now, I mow on Route 2 there, and I have to put my nose up to the road, and with my John Deere, I had never been nervous about driving the nose up to the edge of the road, because the thing would stop when I gave the gas. With this thing, I actually am thinking to myself, one day I'm going to be in traffic, because if I don't time this correctly, you know what I mean? It's like I'm going to be in traffic if I don't time this correctly. So, my overall thoughts of it is, and I think I addressed it quite a bit in my rocking video that I did, the rocking back and forth.
I saw that one.
I was like, guys, you selling a garden tractor that if it gets any I was a firefighter for many years, and the whole it may seem silly, but the whole adverb that if you can rock it, you can get it out. If you can rock it, it will come out eventually, and that's always been true. Without any extra intervention to it. The John Deere, I used to get that John Deere in places that I won't even go 40 feet near with this tractor. So the reality is, the John Deere did things for me that were preferable. But the Ego tractor does the one thing for me. I mean, we go back to the question is, why do we get a electric? That's different from everybody across the globe. Why would they go electric? For me, the convenience of just plugging the gem in and knowing I can go out there at any time and mow my lawn without having to make a trip to a gas station, because I live on an island, and I don't know if you were in a very tourism type of place, but in the middle of the summer, going down to the local store to get a 5-gallon of gas is like a half-day adventure. And it didn't make any sense to me. And obviously, also, if you watch my channel, I've got solar panels on my house, and that helps mitigate whatever the tractor's eating up in power. So it's like free energy to me. So I was just hoping to get this technology and kind of work with it. And I've got a ticket in right now about the batteries. I was able to solve it. Now I can get the tractor up to 99%. It just seems silly that I don't know if you saw the battery videos, but
I did.
Okay, so so basically I got them up to 99%. I haven't heard back from them. I thought actually you were them wanting to have a conversation. I told the wife, I said, this is either going to be a cease and desist conversation, or they're going to say, let's see if we can work this out, and it'd be nice if you took those down. So I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing is, the reason I contacted you in the first place was because you were doing videos, and I think people should know as much as, had I known what I know today, I probably wouldn't have bought it.
Yeah, I'm getting that from people saying, one guy even came at me and saying, Tarkus, why didn't you do this a week ago before I bought my tractor? I would have never bought it. It's like, well, right. You look at my YouTube channel, I've got over 1 million views on my YouTube channel. I've got 1,400 videos, only 23 of them are tractor videos. So for me, right. I'm not going to, I don't like to review a product unless I've actually put some hours on it. And my threshold, I told the wife, I said, my threshold is going to be 10 hours. I'm going to get it to 10 hours, and then I'm going to say the truth about it, either the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. But then stuff started to happen, and I started sneaking them in. And I've got one guy was like, Jesus, I wish I would have known that, it's got the GIMP steering. And well, I'm an old guy. GIMP steering for me is GIMP steering. I used to own a Ford Maverick. It didn't even have power steering, So my value of what that feels like, displacement. If I was Gen Z and it always drove a automatic steering, then I would be losing my shit right now. I know I would. Because this thing, right. this thing drives kind of hokey. You know what I mean? So
like an ice wagon, as we used to say.
It's kind of a little sloppy, and the noise not only comes from those bars that I had another subscriber said no, it's also the column housing that's going up and down like a piston, right? So when you hit a big bump, you hear this piston like this jarring of two poles going down each other's sleeve, and I was like, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say to sum it up, this thing's made for an in-town lawn, as opposed to, I live on 4.5 acres.
Sure, yeah.
And it was wooded at one time, so I've got some rough terrain, and it's awful. Now, I still like it. There's things about it that I really like you said, get on it and go. Another thing is I have a whole bunch of Ego tools, so if I put the tools in my trailer, wherever I go with that tractor, I've got a battery.
Yeah.
All I have to do is take one out of the tractor.
Yeah,
and I do that.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about the vision. I'll go back to, I'm an IT guy, and I'm an IT specialist. And when we go back
Right.
to talking about Android phones and what the vision for that was, it was basically you were buying the heart and soul of a base computer, which eventually was going to be able to tie into other things that they were going to make in the future. And that's what, when you go to Ego, that's what you're buying into. Is you've got this one battery, this very proprietary, I believe, battery. Hopefully, I'm saying that word right. That's unique to them, and that it can be slotted into all their tools. Now, John, DeWalt does it. There's a couple other. I've got another couple tools from the Walk, I think it's called, collection. They were cheaper tools that they kind of did the same thing. But with the Ego batteries, yeah, it's like if something goes wrong, you can just slap a different battery in. Now, the batteries are kind of expensive because it's new technology. So when you're looking at, when you were talking about doing the 4 acres, now that is doable with this tractor without any, I don't think myself, concern. It's just how you want to do the ride. But if you were to say to me, if I was in suburb, Texas or whatever, and I had just a normal cul-de-sac lawn, this thing, you would love it. You would think this was the cat's ass of all tractors, because you're only on it for 20 minutes and you're never going to really, it's like, that's the way I look at it. Is you could, that's the thing, is if you're going to put, if you got a small lawn, you got to put a little time on it, you're going to see nothing really wrong with this tractor, honestly. It's those people that are going to put acres and acres on it. I've already got 7 hours on mine. But I will say this about it, is when you don't have the blades engaged, when the blades are not engaged, that thing,
you can go
forever. Like forever, ever. And I was like,
yeah, well, I got 12 hours on mine.
There you go.
And I bought mine after you bought yours.
Oh, geez. So, yeah, you've put it together.
So it gives you an idea how much I use it.
Well, I like to spend more time on my smart travel bike than I do on my lawnmower. But yeah, it does tell me, you're using it. You're putting it through its paces.
I use it as a mower. I use it as a tractor.
Yeah.
But
you were just saying you were pulling trees out of the ground with it.
Was if you're going to make that video about the thing coasting, if you will, I just wanted to let you know about it. I saw today firsthand that it does continue to forcefully go forward when you let off that gas.
Yeah,
it's trying to drive.
Yeah, it's basically saying that I'm smarter than you and we're going to go a little bit farther. It's like, yeah, I hear you, because when you pointed it out in the manual, I looked it up and I was like, okay, that's not really what's going on here. I think in theory, that's what's supposed to happen. Or my other thought is maybe, this is just a thought and there's no engineering behind it. But my thoughts is, even after the power's not going to the motor still has enough energy in it to finish what it was doing. You know what I mean? So you've told it, you don't...
That's the flywheel effect you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's it. And that's the only thing I can think of.
Right, and so there is a small amount of that maybe, but the reason I'm talking to you now is because you're going to be noticed before anybody else is going to be noticed when it comes to this tractor, because of your YouTube videos. And so I'm sure that you've been in contact with Ego and they know you have videos, and so they're going to pay attention to your videos. This, I think, is a very dangerous situation, because one of the first things I did was I ran into a raised flower bed.
Yep.
And broke the damn thing.
Yep.
Because it didn't stop.
Yep. Ditto.
So,
Ditto. I did the same thing with one of my wife's. The first day I owned it, I ended up in a flower box that was made of wood and ripped up the corner. I even dragged my picnic table, because I turned the angle on my picnic table. I don't know if you mow around a picnic table or not, but my old John Deere, I knew exactly how I could drive around it. Well, I figured I had the same clearance with this. No, I grabbed it, just the corner of that picnic table, and I let off the gas to stop myself, and it moved that picnic table 3 feet after I had let
Right.
go of the gas. And I was like,
Right.
holy shit, it's a good thing that's not a little kid, or whatever. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, see, when I first contacted Ego's support with my issue, the people I talked to didn't know their butt from their elbow regarding this product.
Okay.
I'm not saying they don't know anything, but on this product, they didn't know anything, and they admitted so. So I told them, I said, it's very important that you get this to the higher ups because it could end up in a lawsuit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I hope it doesn't come to that. I mean, I hope it just.
Right.
I mean, maybe it could be a firmware update or something. I don't. I mean, like I said, I'm a kind of I was a computer guy. I spent most of
Well, I
my
am too.
time in IT, IT specialist.
Right.
Now, I mean,
I'm a programmer.
there you go. So my thoughts is maybe there's a firmware update that can tell that system to do something different or cash out whatever
Right.
it's doing, or get that
Right,
get that brake thing fixed, or where you're supposed to.
Right.
Yeah, the thing should break if you let go of that gas.
But that firmware isn't out there yet.
No, I mean,
That update isn't there.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what. Yeah, exactly. Is they gotta
Yeah.
they gotta figure it out now. We were when we began. I'm not here to bankrupt anybody. I'm not here to take food out of people's mouths. I'm just here to say, look, this is what I bought. This is how it's working. Take it for what it is. Because some people that have contacted me had said, I see nothing wrong with the tractor. I mean, you're nitpicky. And I'm like, okay, I can be nitpicky, especially when you're dropping 4K on a tractor. Now, would I right now say, would I buy a John Deere tomorrow? It all comes down to the fact that when this battery issue that I have going on, how they respond to that. I mean, if they respond to my video, granted, I've got it kind of fixed and I've worked it out, because I should have understood that I should have taken power out of the whole thing to begin with. I mean, I kind of like hit myself in the head, like, why didn't you think of that, Mr. IT man? Because back in Windows 98 days, that's what you did. You should be powered down, you rebooted. That didn't even dawn on me to take the complete power out of the system. I don't know if that would have fixed it or not, but I did.
I called them with your same problem because I had that problem shortly after I got the tractor. And I called them. I said, why in the hell is this thing saying 97%? And they told me to pop the batteries out. You don't have to take them out, but just pop them.
Yep.
And then wait 5 minutes, pop them back in, and that resets the computer. And also at that time, if there's a firmware update, it would automatically update too.
Okay. It would be nice, because I looked in the manual to see if there was just a hot button that would do that. Like if you hold down two, in a lot of machinery, you hold down two different buttons for 4 seconds and it reboots the system. Now, I did end up pulling them all out. So the tractor had zero power, not plugged in, no batteries in it for an hour and a half. I charged those batteries individually until they would not charge anymore. And I got it to 97%. So, and I've pulled them all out again, giving more than 5 minutes, putting them all back in, and still it won't get past the 97%. So the question is that acceptable for this technology? I can work with that. I mean, if it was 50%, I would be pulling my hair out of my head, which I don't really have because I'm bald as a bat. But, I'm just hoping, I mean, I will say this for Ego. I think they have the best intentions here. I mean, I think they're trying to sell us a product that they believe behind, or they're really hoping.
Well, the warranty tells you that.
Yeah, exactly, because the warranty's pretty nice. And the other thing,
very nice.
Yeah, the other thing also is when I've contacted them, it went okay smooth. I mean, I talked to the rep on the phone. I went through the app and let them know what was going on for the blade issue. That got a little confusing because I guess the app wasn't paired into their phone record service. So what happened was when I talked to the person on the phone, they had a set of information I had given. And then when I talked to the person through the app, that person had a separate set of information, and they weren't talking to each other. So in the
Right.
end, I said, look, guys, this has been going on a couple weeks. The first rep told me I'd get those blades in 5 to 10 days. It's now 17 days. What's going on? Then the other guy, within the app, the guy, they were like, oh, please call. A supervisor has to, sign off on this. And I'm like, well, dude, wasn't told that, 17 days ago. And then I was like, okay, could you view this YouTube video I just did so that you have an understanding of what's going on? Within an hour, I had a shipping to my email, a shipping tracking thing, and within 2 days I had those blades. Now I will say they did pretty good because it was like they didn't drag it along. Now I've done with companies that's dragged it along. And I will say, even though I was concerned when I got those blades that they didn't look like they were engineered correctly because I am used to the other standard blades, I would say that the new blades are making that tractor perform what it should have performed the day I bought it, because I am happy on how it cuts right now. I have, other than the shaky steering and what we've discussed here with it kind of wanting to feather forward even after you take off the gas, I would say overall it's still a great tractor, and I would not go tomorrow to buy a John Deere until I talk to Ego some more and have them.
I totally agree. I totally agree. It's I have some bump. It looks to me like part of your yard is also bumpy.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not. But
no, part of it is. Yeah.
It would be bumpy.
Yeah.
And it's too rattly, too bouncy, too all of that stuff. But it's not meant to be a tractor. It's meant to be a riding mower.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, like, I go back to the suburb thing, nothing against suburbs or whatnot. Right. Pristine front yards, pull it out of the shed on Sunday, drink your iced tea, tool it around for 20, 30 minutes, waves to the neighbors, put it back in the shed.
Right.
And you'll love the thing,
Right.
You'll never have a problem, and the warranty was never going to be an issue because you're going to get everything you want out of this tractor. When you're looking at someone like you and I, who are old school, like it's like getting a dog. This is a working dog.
Well, I'm 78. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So you've got a little bit more age on me. I'm a little mid-50s, but it's like we're using it like we used to use our Craftsman tools in the 90s and 2000s. You use the shit out of them. You know what I mean? You use as much out of them.
You use a drill for a hammer.
Exactly. Or you use a wrench for a hammer.
You use it.
You'd have to have all these broken Craftsman wrenches because I was using them on a hammer. And I never feel bad. I would never bring them in because it was Craftsman had that, like, bring them in and we'll give you new ones. Yeah. I always no, I ain't going to do that to Craftsman because I'm using this not the way it's supposed to be used. But, I mean, when it comes to this tractor, we're using it for a purpose that our John Deere's did. Our John Deere's performed. My John Deere performed I was sad to see it go. And it's just that when we look at the reasons why we buy electric, then we have to ask ourselves, what is it that we're trying to accomplish? Is it to save the world? Is it to bring carbon emissions down? Is it to save a buck on gasoline? Are we doing it for the convenience? Are we doing
Let me tell you why I bought mine. I thought I was going to have cancer surgery here soon, and I have that big John Deere, the biggest X series they make, and it's a little bit too much machine for my wife. She won't even get on it. So I bought this little electric job thinking that she would tool around on it, and that's the reason that I bought it, was for her, if you will.
Yeah.
So that she could mow while I'm laid up. And then I went to my doctor last Thursday, and this growth got smaller, so we're not going to do anything with it yet.
Well, that's good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah, but anyway, that's the reason I bought mine, was so my wife would drive it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean,
and now I'm on it every day.
Yeah, it's a safe. I always think it's a safer option than the big bulky ones. I mean, if the thing stopped when it was supposed to stop, definitely. But I imagine with your wife, she can probably get to that brake easier. You know what I mean? That's the thing that I have a problem with, is the position of where that is. it's like you've got to put some effort into, and you've got to like program your brain. And so when you're adjusting it from forward to neutral, I don't think you even got a neutral, because even in the neutral spot, the thing don't want to move. I mean, I don't,
Right.
I mean, because that's the thing with this tractor that I've noticed is if you've got it in drive, it's like putting a car in drive for it don't roll anywhere. If you, or, when you can't put it in park or whatnot, this thing just won't go forward. You can't push it. You can't move it. It seems like it's got no neutral. And I
Well,
think
another thing too, if you will, because we both have John Deere hydrostatic drives.
yeah,
When you hit a panic button with the electric, you automatically want to hit the brake on the John Deere,
yep,
which is the gas pedal
yeah, exactly.
on the electric.
On the electric.
You know,
So that's what I go
Right,
back
so
to. You've got to reprogram your thinking
Right.
on this, and that's, I guess, if we walk away with anything on this tonight, then that is just the message. Is it's just got to relearn it a little bit. And some people that might listen to this to say, okay, these two old geezers, what the hell's wrong with them? Why can't they put these two ends together? But yeah, I mean, for people
well,
that
it
have
shouldn't take 6
constantly,
minutes to go from.
yeah, but
It shouldn't take 6 minutes, 6-7 seconds to go from forward to reverse.
Exactly. And the thing is younger people pick up on these quicker the reality is younger people pick up on the fact that they can relearn things quicker than, people say old people are stubborn. It's just that they're not stubborn. They've locked their.
It's not efficient.
It's learned. It's learned responses of what we've done our whole life, and we've got to kind of like try to accommodate what's coming out today.
Now,
And
if I can interrupt you, because this is the way I feel about the thing. If I were designing it, knowing what I know now, I would change a few things, and one would be the shift from forward to reverse, because you can't just do it. You have to wait, and then when you have it reversed and then you hit the pedal, it pauses before it starts to drive backwards. That's not efficient. It's not the way a modern tractor would be designed.
yeah, because the John Deere had the reverse right there next to the pedal, the accelerator.
Right.
So you would put down
Right.
you put the top one in, you go forward, and as soon as you put the reverse pedal down, you immediately went backwards. So what was nice
Right.
is you could use it as a way to stop, because you're just putting your foot down, and you're not putting it on the brake, you're putting it on the reverse to actually stop your forward momentum that quick. So, because the other thing with the John Deere, that kind of had a hokey place where the brake was too. It was doable. It just, it's just comes down to learn responses, and how when you spend 15, 20
sure.
years on a tractor, you've got to kind of relearn the technology is where I was trying to get. Well, I think
Right on.
we're at the half-hour mark, and
That's long enough.
I think-
I just wanted to let you know about the fact that it does definitely continue to drive, and drive hard, because the wheels spun with the foot off the gas. And I wanted you to know that before you did any kind of video.
yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
talking about
I
that.
agree with you. Mine does that, but maybe not at a level that it's doing it with yours, and that could just be something within the difference of it. But like I said, bringing it back to the picnic table, dragging that across the lawn, I was surprised that thing did not want to stop when I released the gas. It just wanted to keep on going. All right. Well,
Right.
it was great chatting with you, and maybe we'll have another chat in the future, and anything else that we find wrong with this thing. So,
All righty. Thank you.
all
Thank
right.
you for putting up with me.
All right. Well, have a good one. It was nice chatting with you.
Bye.